heck no, girl. You ain't bringing that woman into your house, not with your husband. Exactly. That was your fine husband.
Right.
You know? That was your fine husband, but...
Really close with your mom, and I know she gives you advice, and there's like an ongoing rule. My mom tells me the same thing. I'm not married, but once you're married, do not let another woman into your household. And I know you have close friends, and you know, we've seen it on TV, reality shows, we've seen it in real life, seen it on court shows, talk shows. You let a family member, a close friend, stay at your house for a while. Maybe they need a place to stay, and something happens with the husband. Are you mindful of that? Does your mother warn you of that? Like, Kiara, I know you have a good heart, sweetie, but there's no woman that's staying in your house. Unless it's your sister, a sister, that's fine. But
absolutely, Tashara, my mama has already, look, don't have too many people around y'all. Don't get comfortable. I don't care how, good you trust or whatever it is. I'm very mindful and very careful. I will buy a friend a hotel room before I let them stay at my house. However, I am a prayerful woman to discern the space that I am in. I'm also very cautious of, what purpose am I supposed to serve in this person's life? And so while I'm very prayerful, I'm always also asking God outside of mom to direct me. Is in this season, am I supposed to let them into my home? Because, we as believers, we believe that what we have, we're supposed to share with others. But I'm not sharing my man. And so since I'm not sharing my man, I have to be cautious with, everything else that I share, as far as with him being there too. So absolutely, that's a lesson that I get. And I think it's a such thing as a balance, which that also goes to Tashara, why we have to have wise friends, encourage our friends to, because you know how they say a lot of single women, they can't give you counsel, but I was single and I was able to tell my married friends good advice,
Right.
So I think it is a such thing, but it definitely is also a such thing as boundaries.
For sure. Yeah, it's definitely a balance, because I hate when oh, girl, don't let her around your man. Yo, that's my homegirl. So what if she's single? Don't just label her as she's gonna take, that's love right there. That's a good point too. You have to know the levels and the line of that she loves me.
Absolutely. And some friends don't know that balance. You can understand the balance, but if they don't understand the balance, then that gives you room and the green light to, all right, let's go ahead and do some adjustments here. So I feel you 100%.
Right. And I'm not married, so I don't even know I'm talking like that.
But maybe it's on the way, honey, if that's what you want.
I'm going to be prayerful, like you said.
Okay, girl, that was a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear.
Interesting.
I want to hear your thoughts. I really want to hear your thoughts. I have so much to say, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
Oh my gosh, where do I start? I don't know. I definitely feel like I have a strong opinion on that. I completely agree. Mm-hmm. I'm very strong on and from experience and everything, I just don't feel like it's right for someone that's married to have friends, and as they said, sister is okay, but as friends, I just don't think that it's right. Whether you trust them or not, it's just not right, that's how I feel.
Really? Even if it's a friend that you've known 20 years before you met your husband?
Yeah, really? I would still probably feel the same way, just because I've been brought up. My mom always told me it's just not right to do that, because it is your matrimonial home. It's sacred, and you have to be careful who you bring into your home. Yeah. And people don't always have the right intentions, right? And you don't really know until it happens, right? So I feel just to avoid anything, it's just better. And hopefully the friends that I do have, usually they kind of understand. So I think I would be sticking to that.
I don't know. For me, my initial thought would be, ain't no way, no how.
Right.
I don't want nobody that is not a part of my immediate family to be in my home, or just my family in general, to come and stay. I don't even want to live with any random, I don't even want to live with an aunt, a mom, a mother-in-law, let alone a whole friend, right?
Right.
But I do understand there could be a situation where maybe the friend is just coming in for one night, and you could let them stay for the one night. But I will only do that for I have a certain group of friends that I trust so much. And I feel like I agree with what she said, where she prays about it, right? Because you really don't know. Because of course, sometimes we can't always go by our emotions and our feelings, right? Because your feeling automatically will be like, oh, heck no, girl, you ain't bringing that woman into your house. Not with your husband, not with your fine husband, you know. That was your fine husband. But at the same time, you know, you don't know what God is calling you to do in that moment, right? To bless that person, right? To help that person. Maybe it could be a situation where the person's in a situation where they don't have anywhere to stay. And I don't want my feelings to get in the midst of it, but I'm going to pray about it first. If God gives me the goal, that means it's good. That means I have nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah.
But my initial thought is like, unless it's like a certain group of girls that I do know, and it's only like the maximum I'm letting you stay in my place is 1 or 2 nights.
Right.
It's not going to be more than that.
And you know what? I would want to say, like, you know, I don't even want to do the one night, but of course, I don't want to be that kind of friend that if as you said, if somebody's in dire dire need, I would not want to turn them away because I want to be there for them, right? But I have had situations with friends, even I haven't experienced it myself, but I've had situations with friends where they were, you know, they felt like, you know what, I have to help you, and they kind of regretted it after, right? So I guess that's probably what kind of deters me from that, just from that, you know.
You can't just pass. I want to hear the situation. Like, what happened? What made them regret it? I hear so many stories. Like, what happened? So you've actually heard of a story?
There's been a few situations, but I guess the one example I can think of is this a married couple, a friend of mine that I have, and she had a friend of hers that needed help, of course. And she, of course, she was, you know, had open arms and was welcoming her into her home. She has kids as well, so it's not just her and her husband. And she welcomed her friend in, and I feel like there was just a thing of like not having boundaries and respect more so, because
who didn't have the boundaries?
The friend that was, you know, being helped, right? So, you know, like just to say, for example, like of course if you're married, you know, you have your bedroom, your matrimonial room, and you kind of don't expect anybody to just walk into your room any time, or if they're going to, at least knock, right? So like, I just know that one situation happened when my friend called me and she was livid. She was like,
hold on. So the girl's in the room with her husband and the friend, it was a friend?
So this friend was staying over. I guess she let her stay for a few days, and she decided you could stay as long as you want until you're, you know, back on your feet. So there was no timeline. And there was no timeline, and that's exactly.
That's a whole other story. Okay, keep going.
So there's no timeline. She just said, you know, when you're ready to, you know, get back on your feet, then of course you can go ahead. But in the meantime, you're welcome to stay here, feel at home. And that person, and I feel like, you know, it's just has a lot to do with also just being, you know, the way you're brought up and all of that, because I personally would never do something like that. Like, you know, I'm in my friend's house and, you know, I know she's married and her husband are in their room doing whatever. Could be having a conversation, could be doing anything else. And I would have to knock. If I needed to, I would probably call or something, you know. I wouldn't just be comfortable to just walk in and just, you know, see what happens. So I remember that one time that happened, but my friend called me and she was just like, you know what, she was livid. She's just like, am I a bad friend for even feeling like this? I'm like, no, I would feel the same way.
The girl just walked up in the room.
Yeah, she just opened the door, and luckily they weren't, you know, they were decent. But they could have not been, right? So like that just threw her off completely, and I was like, wow, you know, that's just, you know, unacceptable type of thing.
That's why I said it's really important to know. That's why I said when I talk about there's a certain group of friends that I know 100% because I know them so well.
Right.
I know they have boundaries. I know they have respect. I know these people, and even with these people, as much as I love them and I know them.
Right.
You won't stay for a night or two max. Like, you know, but there's never going to be stay until you're,
Yeah. See, and I think that's just, you know, wanting to be a good friend, and, you know, you don't want to, you know what I mean, pressure them.
No, but now when I'm married.
It can backfire.
There's no way you're staying in my house for more than 1 or 2 nights with me and my husband. There's no reason. Me and my husband will gladly pay for your motel, hotel if we have to. God willing, like we have the funds.
Right.
But like that's just. But and I would like to hope that the friends that I have also know that.
That's what I was saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like they understand.
Hope they understand. Right.
Because,
yeah.
Like I am okay with losing a friendship to protect my marriage.
Exactly.
I'm fine
Same.
with that. Like, you know, I'm not even gonna,
Yeah.
like, if you don't understand that I'm not comfortable with that, and like I could get,
And that's a problem.
You know, you can imagine some people are probably like, what do you mean? Like, I can't stay with you. Or
Right.
You don't trust me, or you don't trust your husband.
Like, you think of me that way, but it's like,
yeah, no, I don't.
you know, I don't want to risk it. I'm not even thinking of you that way. I would rather just,
I'm not taking
you know,
the chances.
Not take the chances. Exactly.
The Bible said, flee from temptation. Don't run into temptation. And
Right,
this
right.
is a whole temptation situation happening. So no, definitely not. But yeah.
So what about, like, I know, like, for example, like just like another scenario, I guess, for example, like, you know, if you have a friend that did connect you with somebody, with, you know, your man or your partner, how would you feel comfortable with then? Because it's like, you know.
So the friend is the one that hooked me up with the person.
Yeah.
It's the same real goals.
Right?
I don't care if you hook
It doesn't
me
matter.
up. I don't care, like 1 or 2 nights. And that is only if I trust you. Like, it depends on who you are. Like, I have to feel, because I go by my intuition. I feel like I have a very strong intuition to reading people.
Right.
So if I feel and I believe and I pray and I feel comfortable, I feel that peace, that you being in my home isn't going to cause any
an issue,
type of issues between my marriage or between, you know,
between
my
us,
husband, then I will be okay with it. Like, everything. Like, because I know my heart too. I'm the type of person that if somebody needs something, like, I don't know, like when I'm driving on the road, right? And I see a car stop, like the first thing I want to do is literally like stop, turn around. If I could turn around, I will, even if it's on a highway. Like, I just want to stop and help them. But I'm like, what do you know? Like, you can't even change a tire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you gonna help somebody? So I do know my heart, but I also understand you have to have wisdom in everything you do. You can't just jump into doing things, because that's why a lot of people, they end up helping people and then it ends up backfiring on them. You hear those stories like a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
That's why they say nice people, good people
finish
last or something like that.
Exactly.
So I feel like in everything you do, you have to have wisdom. You have to pray and ask God if this is the direction He wants you to go, because He might want you to help that person at that time, right? Or He might be like, no. This might be a trap, or this might be something.
I think that's important. You're right. I feel like, if you do have God to like guide you, and because for sure, you know, you don't know if that's what you're being called to do, right? And you don't want to obviously miss that opportunity or just not help the person.
To somebody.
Exactly. So I think like that's where it kind of becomes a little bit tricky, because you're like, you know, I want to help, but at the same time, what if this, you know, does backfire? But yeah, like I feel like for me personally, I would, just to avoid any issues, period, I would just probably say, you know what, and I would tell all my friends, like, it's just not.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can help you find somewhere else to stay, you know, like as opposed to you staying at my place. But if they do have to, like, again, it's depending on the situation. Maybe one night, as you said, the most, you know, and it would have to be like maybe
a specific friend, like you really know and you really trust.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think my friends know me well enough to know that, like, I'm very straightforward.
But you do know that there's situations where people are like really close and they feel like they know the person so well and they still end up getting disappointed.
God forbid. That would not be my
the person
portion.
Just turns around and they just feel like, you know what, this is just what happened, and like, you know, it's
that's why
probably meant to be.
You know, I mean, that's why I think it's important to, I think the fact, you know, praying about it is really important. And, you know, waiting for it to hear a response from God, I think it's also really important, because I feel like wanting to help people and wanting to give is a gift. It's not something that everybody has, right? So for somebody, me and my friend, we talk about this all the time. Like, we have a group of friends, and like there's 2 of us that, or 3 of us, I would say, that always want to do to a point where it's just like we will literally give our last $20, you know, but it's not wise. Like, you know, it's not good. Like,
sometimes it's
you
not,
have to be able to, like, you know, say no, or, you know, have the wisdom to allow maybe God to work through them. Maybe God wants to send somebody else to help them, or maybe God wants them to pray a little bit more. You know, you never know, right? But we just always want to help. So I feel like it's just really important to just pray about it and hopefully get an answer from God and have that peace that it's okay to move forward and help this person. Because if not, then you could find yourself in some crazy situations. You know, right? I have heard of some situations. That's why, to me, it's just like, I'd rather not. And I hope my friends know, like, me personally, I don't even want nobody to live with me now. okay? And it's just
I
me
love
and
my
son.
space so much.
I don't
like,
want a
it's
family
scary.
member, not my mama, not
Right.
my sister, I don't want nobody to live with me, let alone, like,
Let
the
alone-
only person that I would like to live with me is my husband.
And my
you
children.
know, and,
Yeah.
and our children.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, I can't even imagine having a random person coming to stay with us. And you said your friend, she said she didn't even give a time limit?
She didn't, because she just thought, you know, I mean, I guess she kind of left it to her to feel like, you know what, you know, obviously you have to kind of know,
no way.
right? But of course, some people don't. So
There
they just
is
kind of abuse it or take advantage, you know?
Absolutely no way I would let
Right.
anybody. I'd be like, so, if it's me by myself, so how
are things
long?
going now?
No, not even how are things. Before you even enter the house, I would be like, so how
What's your
long
plan?
is this
Right.
going to happen?
Exactly.
You know, hopefully you tell me a week, because if we're going to a month, that's like a little scary.
What would you say then if they said that? It was like they
A
need
month
a
to
little
where?
bit more, like a
to
bit
live
of a
with
while.
me by myself or me and my husband?
You and but your husband, of course.
Oh, no, honey. I don't think that's going to work. We're going to have to find you
Another option?
Don't worry. I'll help
I'll help you.
you know, maybe we can help you with the shelter. Not a shelter, but we can help. We could get you into a shelter too. You know, maybe we can help
If
you.
need be, yeah.
There's no,
Yeah, no, I agree.